Diaspora, I hope you can hear me. Hello, hello, hello. Ira, good evening to you, and Ira, good evening to our distinguished listeners wherever in the world you're tuning in from. We thank you. My name is Miguel Anthony Melbourne. This week on Melbourne Motivation, as we are in the midst of Jamaica 60th, we cannot have a celebration without music. So I'm excited to introduce to you perhaps your new favorite gospel recording artist. Let me tell you a bit more. Jamaican born gospel reggae artist Cecil Wilson, more popularly known as Sone G, has emerged as one of the Caribbean's more creative minds and a versatile Christian artist. He was born and raised in the parish of Clarendon. Sone G grew up surrounded by the constant presence of dancehall and reggae music. His family owned and operated a sound system known to this day as Turbo Sonic. He became a believer in Jesus during his first year of high school. Sonny was also a young protégé, playing football for his high school, Clarendon College, and for the Parish of Clarendon. Most recently, Sone G performed with DJ Nicholas on Sumr Fete and Tribbett at the Church of God Youth Convention in Orlando. He also has shared stages with Bridget Blucher-Simms, Sister Scully, Sandra Brooks, among other renowned gospel artists. So with that, Mr. Sone G, greetings, King. Welcome to Ira Jam and the Bridge. How are you feeling today?
Greetings, Miguel. Blessed to be here, man. Blessed to be sharing on this platform, you know. Thanks for
Absolutely.
having me, you know.
Absolute pleasure. It's an absolute pleasure. Of course, I'm super excited. We are celebrating Sone G. We're in the midst of celebrating Jamaica's 60th independence. And of course, by now, I think the world knows that Jamaica has 14 best parishes, but you, sir, are repping Clarendon. So listen,
See,
as you travel the world, across the states and Canada, if you're talking to someone who may not have been to Jamaica yet, what are three things or experiences you would identify that made your upbringing, those formative years growing up in Clarendon special? Well, what are those three things you would tell them?
I would say one, just being able to run around and play around on Mall Road and dirt field, playing football and so on. It was I don't think nowadays it's the same, but I would say that growing up and having that experience kind of shaped me. Who I am today is a product of that. Being able to have that experience, just being able to run around. And the next part of it is kind of similar outdoorsy, but we used to play a lot of ring game and a lot of you know sightings and them little thing there and Stucky and them little games there that we play. But so you don't really see it happening so much nowadays. But I'm telling you, none of us who grew up in that era would give up that experience, not for a second. And I would say one of the other thing is just being around, the sound system, my family, and I have an interesting childhood where one half of my family, they were into music and they owned the sound system and operated the sound system. The other half of the family basically was into church. So if I was staying with this family, I was going to church, or if I was staying with that half of the family, I was going to dance hall and being around the sound system and so on. So it was very fruitful. I'm thankful for those three things.
Oh man, I'm telling you, it's your childhood sound fantastic. Many people said
Yeah.
yes. I know they'd want to borrow that childhood, but I'm glad you brought it up, Sony G. But because I wonder if you'd agree with me here that two of the most powerful forces on the island of Jamaica are the gospel and reggae music,
Indeed.
right? And so oftentimes people, young people or older people, feel like they have to choose between the two, but not you, right? You're not compromising. And so the question I want to ask you is, what was your process like of discovering you could put these two passions of yours together in a way that delivers value to other people? And ultimately, what do you hope your music signals to the younger generation?
That's a fantastic question. So remember, I was in dancehall music from I was a little boy, and they used to tell me that my grandmother would bring me to sound clash and bring me to dancehall, and I would sleep on beer box and so on from I was a little baby. So with that upbringing, right, and then getting into the church, I got saved at a prime time in Christendom and in the world of gospel reggae music as well, because the year that I got saved was the same year that Papa San, Stitchy, DJ Nicholas, the entire Main Street crew started out doing reggae gospel, probably a year before or so, but it was right in the time when I just got saved. And so all of those guys became um, persons who I kind of look up to in the industry and want to emulate. So basically, what I would do, I would take their song, I would take Radical Sun song, I would take Papa San song, learn them to the T, and
Mm,
perform them at church concert and rally and everything that was going on. Anytime I could get a mic, or church group, the church that I grew up in, Church of God of Prophecy in Rocky Point, we had a nucleus of young people that's one part of um my Christian life, my early Christian life, also that I don't think I could ever replace it, and I
mm,
don't think I would be the same person without it either. Those
right.
young people, those young guys, those young girls, the youth that was a part of that team, Jason Bramwell, Knox, I mean, all of those guys that are a part of that team, I mean, they helped form me. And so I took the message, I took the gospel, combined it with the reggae, like the guys were doing, like I mentioned, Nicholas and Prodigal and Jason Mighty and those guys, and then started to doing it, just repeating what they were doing.
Right.
I knew the industry, so I just adopted what they were doing. I wasn't able to write well at that point. I wasn't writing at all, but so I just took their songs and started doing it. And then, when I decided that, hey, this is something that I probably can do myself, then I started, listen more and practice a little bit further. And it became easy. It became easy because it was a part of me all along. And then, I realized also that it's a great tool, because one thing I learned, you can't look for something in a place where it doesn't exist. If you're trying to fish, if you're gonna find fish, you're gonna have to go to the sea in order to
Right.
find them, right? So that's what I decided, that in order to win young people, they're likely not going to want to hear the traditional sounding music that we some of us grew up listening to. They would be I would probably have a better opportunity if I could speak their language, speak their reggae language, but
Right.
put a message, a proper message behind it, a gospel message behind it. And so that's what I decided to do. And it has been effective, and it has helped a lot of young people thus far, and it will continue to.
Yeah, Sone G, it's a very powerful story that you just went through. Because as I mentioned, right, so many of us grow up in the same way. We know the influence of the music, and most of us, we grew up in church. And so just to hear how you put it together, not compromising and absolutely letting the spirit lead, but ultimately, you're doing the good work. And I know you have a passion as well for youth development. And so quickly,
Definitely.
what I did want to ask you, one of my favorite songs, of course, of yours is Purpose, right? But just quickly, for our listeners who's just coming across, you and listening to your music, if they started to search for some music, just list some of the quick songs, list some of the songs for us that they will be able to find in your catalog.
Your purpose that you just mentioned, my latest release is Spirit of Move. That song has been doing exceptionally well. You have another song called Bad Company. You have another song called Gravy, Good to Me, um, Free Up Now. You have another one called Overcome. And let me see another one that I can give to you now. Victory, a collaboration with Rochelle and Nola. And then I have another collaboration with my good friend, The Journey, called Solid Rock. So those are some of the releases that I've put out so far.
Fantastic. Listen, this is Irie Jam and the Bridget runs the world. So if you want to do something a cappella, please don't let me stop you.
Let me know when you're ready, man. Anytime you're ready.
Ready.
You have my purpose, me go down my dream. Nothing can stop me from happening, you feel me? See what I mean? Purpose bigger than me dream. Don't touch a blessing they have fame. And all them a scheme. Me purpose bigger than me dream. Goodness and mercy a surround me, they palm me team. Me purpose bigger than me dream. Me purpose bigger than me dream. I want to say, yo, the enemy a try but a feel lost. Everything done nail down on the cross. Yeah, we still a try when we no pass. Cause we future no depend on we pass. God have a plan for me life and me nah go forfeit. All when me dip on the floor, me nah quit. Send back the years and burn up the casket. Twist it to the side cause I me the captain. Say me purpose bigger than
Bigger
me
than a
dream.
dream. That is it. Pull up. Oh, Sone
Yeah,
G,
boy.
it's an absolute blessing, especially at a time like this where we are celebrating Jamaica. We love this energy. We love this positive vibe. And so quickly, as we do go ahead and close Sone G, can you just please tell our listeners where do they find your music? Where can they stream it? Where can folks connect with you and follow your movement? Tell us quickly.
I would really hope that you connect with me on Instagram. I use Instagram mainly. Also, I use TikTok. My handle on Instagram is underscore Sone underscore G. All right, so that's underscore SONE underscore G on both Instagram and TikTok. You can connect with me there. Send me a DM. We can talk. We can rap, and let me know what you're feeling and think about the songs as well.
Fantastic, fantastic. We appreciate you greatly. Consider this an introduction. Of course, we will continue to have you back as you go ahead and continue to propel this amazing career. We're very proud of you. Continue the good work. Ladies and gentlemen, my personal and professional goals are to help the youth be best prepared for college. Please visit pathwaytopurposenyc.com. Use the code IRIE, IRIE for a discount when purchasing our college study flashcards. Follow Melbourne Motivation, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Until next time, please be safe. Please live with big energy. And of course, continue to enjoy the celebrations. Jamaica 60th. See you next week, Erwin.